Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. As I mentioned earlier, Barb is off today, and, we discussed a little bit earlier with Arif Veterans Day and honoring all those veterans. And I just want to mention that here in Santa Clarita, for Veterans Day, if you are a veteran, if you have ID, or if you can get back into your uniform, there are places you can go in this valley that will give you a free meal. And you go with your family, you get a free meal. California Pizza Kitchen will give you a free pizza. Chili's, a free lunch combo. Denny's, build your own Grand Slam. Little Caesars. Walk in, it's a $5 pizza, but you get it for free. Some free yogurt from Munchies, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, Red Robin, Sizzlers. These are all places you show your ID, you go in, and they'll give you a meal, and you deserve it. So go out to some of these places, and I think we can honor you there as well. At the Senior Center, I just wanted to announce that tomorrow, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, they will be presenting Rosie the Riveter. And I don't know if you've ever gone to where where someone enacts a famous person who has been out there. But Rosie the Riveter was many famous people combined together. But the American Association of University Women will be putting on Rosie the Riveter tomorrow. And, to me, it's enthralling because you see someone who will be telling the history of Rosie the Riveter and who she was and what she meant to America during World War II. The following week, also at the Senior Center on Thursday, November the 19th, at 2:30, salsa dance lessons. So the Association of Latino American Students from College of the Canyons will be there giving free lessons. That's 2:30 a week from tomorrow at the Senior Center. And finally, my last announcement is next Wednesday, a week from today, I will be speaking at the Canyon Country Advisory Committee at 7 p.m. What to expect when you are hospitalized. It's at the Mint Canyon Moose Lodge at 18000 Sierra Highway. So if you want to hear an interesting topic that I've put together to help you out should you be admitted to the hospital, join me, because it'll be fun. It's free, and I think I'll be there to answer some of your questions concerning hospitalizations. Kim Wall is here. She's our homeopathic guru, and Kim, lots of things go on, and I'm a classical doctor. Mm-hmm. Practice classical medicine, been around 200 years or something like that, and and we laugh, because 200 years compared to 2,000 years of especially Asian, Far East, Oriental medicine.
The Chinese herbals, yes.
It's totally different,
yes.
And they didn't have science then, and nowadays we always talk about something being evidence-based.
Right.
And you always want to say, have scholarly people get together, write things up, and prove their significance, and prove something works. And, we have shown that doesn't always work.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of our pharmaceutical drugs do have a plant-based history.
Absolutely.
So the science has been done, but we can't patent a plant. So that science is never going to come to anybody's hands because,
can't make money.
Exactly. But a lot of our things we do look at are actually a plant-based derivative originally, and they've taken it somehow, you bet, and they've tweaked it, and white willow for aspirin, and there's many to get that. The key, though, like you said, is what can we do naturally, something like hawthorn tea for your heart, or dandelion tea, just to help detoxify metals or things from your environment. Simple things that we can do in our life that really don't take much effort, but can make a big difference.
But you have to know to do some
You're
of
right,
these
and
things.
that's where-
And the tough part is saying, okay, right now, the Joxin we think works, but it's taken a background use nowadays. We use it for certain situations, but not like we used to use it. One of the interesting articles that I received from one of our listeners, Jim Andriozzi, talked about chemicals that are in our system right now, our food system, and there's been here they've been out there, And classic science says, oh, yeah, this is good. It helps do this, do that. Not going to hurt you or anything. But now we're finding they're carcinogenic. Now they're finding they affect our metabolism, maybe our heart, maybe our brain, giving us mental diseases or Alzheimer's.
Exactly. Why is a disease like Alzheimer's, we talked about a couple months ago, become something so rampant in our society? Yeah, aging this. No, that's not. We're not looking at cause and effect. And
Not
that's
at
what
all.
Not at all. And some of those things you talked about toxins-wise, like, aspartanes and things like that, or even back to saccharins, chemical alcohol sugars that aren't something our body knows what to process. They're stimulants to the brain, and they're neuroexciters. And so they're kind of frying your brain, and you don't really realize it. And then we get to a certain age, because the sad thing is we're seeing Alzheimer's and dementia and mental disorders in very young people. In a lot of people. I mean, we're looking at, I'm sorry to say, in children as well, because there's something going on in our society. And our brain is a device that runs this motor. So if that brain is getting chemicals from, and people, like you said, pick it up and read it, look at it. They have a thing right now that the government is trying to suppress is some legislation, which is called the Black Act, I believe, where they want to label we want labeled what's in our food. Tell us what's in there. Where did it come from? Let me buy from this farm as opposed to this farm, because this farm's doing it right. They'll succeed. It's going to work the way it needs to work. But they don't want that. Those other companies don't want that.
No.
There's a lot of chemical. There's a lot of things that have been going on for a lot of years that nobody's been held accountable for. And we see so much in disease. I mean, cancer it's not gotten better, it's gotten worse. Yeah, we're living longer, but what kind of quality of life are we seeing? Are you able to go out and enjoy yourself? Are you, do you know what your name is? Can you have can you play a card game with your buddies, And
we're always turning toward, and it's good that we turn toward the technology. Sometimes
we need it,
surgical
for sure.
procedures
You bet.
will help,
100%
maybe
save
even
you.
cure a
Yes.
person. Sometimes
But let's go to cause and effect.
chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
chemotherapy.
we won't go there.
But
But let's go
we
to cause
do,
and
because
effect.
we want to go there, because sometimes it doesn't work. But now their quality of life is affected because of the chemicals they've been given and the side effects, sometimes heart problems.
And we
other
never
things
see
happen.
that paper. That's the
No.
part that amazes me, that side effect sheet.
The side
I
effect
never
sheet.
saw that sheet, and I will go back to where I started this journey for myself, with my oldest child almost 33 years ago, was when she was vaccinated at 6 months of age. I didn't see that piece of paper that the doctor's supposed to show me, and on that piece of paper I saw it with child number 3, about 5-6 years later. And it said right on there, don't vaccinate a child that has a family history of asthma. Well, I don't have it, but my husband has 8 sisters who all have asthmatic issues, some kind of breathing disorders of some. I should have never done it. And interesting enough, when I did that to my daughter, she developed asthma. Okay, it's in the family tree, but what triggered it in the family tree to manifest itself as a little girl? Yes, it took me till she was about 4 years of age, to cure her of her asthma-related issues, which later I realized were mold triggered. Well, we know now that these chemicals in these shots, flu shots, shingles, I don't care what it is, these other chemicals, we're injecting them into our blood. Would you put them in a cup and drink them? I surely wouldn't. If you look at some of the chemicals in there, and we know that, but you're talking about something as simple as food. Well,
right.
I go here and I get this. How can that have something in it? For a while that MSG was all over the place, and we know what a bad thing that is for the brain. Well, the companies didn't just take it off the market and make it go away.
But
they've renamed it.
Right, exactly.
So you just got to look in a different way. It's sad we can't hold them accountable. We'll hold you accountable for what you do in your practice and how you deal with things.
All the time.
All the time. But we've got this company here that can say, I can make this science, or I can produce this, or I don't even have to look at it. And here we are long term down the road, and we're seeing
20 years later, we're finding that it
cancer,
causes
tumors,
problems.
Exactly.
Is that
Possibly-
justifiable? I mean, why have we come to this? And you know what that does, though, Kim? It puts doubt in people's minds that here we listen to the doctor, we listen to the universities, we listen to so-called evidence-based medicine, but yet out there is
That's one
our
little
problems.
exactly. That's
our
one
problems
little
that develop from it.
Right. That's one little sliver in what we would look at as world looks at what is health. That one sliver, and I've done so much research in this and looked back to the Fitzer report and some of these things that show how the FDA and the AMA and these things came to be, and why you have an MD after your name, what that means, and why this person isn't recognized with an ND. Well, now it's changing, but what happened, in the early 1900s with all of this? And it all went back to those Rockefellers and those Rothschilds that owned the DuPonts and the pharmaceutical companies. They wanted to create that drug that everybody's going to need.
Oh, but it was based on the bottom line was profit.
It was. And
that was
sad
make
thing
money, make money
exactly.
at whatever cost it is.
Create customers.
And that's what they did.
And how do we create customers? Well, let's just put a little of this in your food, and we'll put a little of this.
Make it taste better, make it more palatable, make it look better.
Diet Coke is great, and this
put that
is
food
yummy.
coloring in. Wow.
Exactly. And that was one of the things that I got back in touch with, because I didn't really look at food the way I look at food today, because I have a 3-year-old granddaughter. 33 years ago, when I was a mom, food was very different. It didn't have the labels it has today. Well, having a granddaughter, it's made me look at labels again, and it amazes me how many things are flavored and colored. It's like, do I care that this is this color? Why does this have red dye 40 and yellow 20 and blue? Why is that in there? My granddaughter doesn't care what color it is. It's the taste. So let's make it something good and make that flavored with, or sweetened with a pear juice, or stevia, which I'm not a big fan of. I think it's weird tasting. But I think the sad thing with the sweet cravings in our society is people have lost connection with their taste buds.
Oh,
and people have been so overstimulated that they forgot the real taste of real food. And so I would challenge somebody to go on that 30-day kind of fast and get away from that processed chemical stuff. Purge themselves of that and do something that's natural and eat something that's alive. Because food has cell residence. If we look at it under a microscope, it glows. It's got energy all over it. We put that energy in, we digest it, and that energy goes into our cells. We take some of this stuff here and we put it under a microscope. Well, we could leave it on a shelf for 15 years. And we come back and it still looked like a donut.
Yeah.
It still looks like a hamburger.
Not good.
No, that's kind of scary. So we can't expect our cells and our brain to run optimal if what we're putting into them is something that's dead.
And I look at the list that Jim Andriozzi sent me, and all these numbers and numbers and numbers of things that are there, and I go, gee, we have this list now, and periodically I would hear, this causes something that, and now we've been able to put these all together into articles that say these could be dangerous.
Getting smaller,
now people who whenever I go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, people are standing in the aisleway, looking at the ingredients, reading everything. And of course, I'm always fearful that, is everything really listed? They're supposed to be. Are they?
Well, you have to have a little bit of faith in that, but you just need to be educated when you walk in and understand what is beneficial for you and what's not beneficial. And that's it. Because you're right, it's about marketing. It is. I mean, you can put natural, you can put this, you can put that. But there was a very interesting thing posted a few months ago on the Facebook type, internet type thing, about a family that did blood tests, urine tests on all their family members, and they tested positive for over 200 chemicals in their urine. And this family ate organic for a month and dropped down this pesticide load on their body down to minuscule. The key, like you said, is we have no idea. It's not just one thing here or one thing there. It's like a bucket now. We've got so many things. What kind of bubble bath? What kind of lotion? What kind of shampoo? Don't wear perfume. You know how many chemicals are in perfume and you're inhaling? Look at all these different things. The body can only take so much. And what is our elimination? Is going to be kidney. It's going to be liver. Well, we know kidney disease is on the rise rampantly. People don't talk about that, but it's one of those things. Why? Because a lot of people do certain medications that affect the kidneys, but on the same sense, they're also doing a lot of things that are just constantly the body's trying to detox and get rid of. And we see...
And our bodies aren't used to that.
Not at all.
And they will set up sometimes immune responses that take place. And now I'm going to switch gears a little bit on this, because I think that women tend to have immune problems more than men do.
Because most of these chemicals are xenoestrogens, and we have more receptors. So we're going to have infertility. We're going to have weight gain.
That's
We're
right.
going to have menopause symptoms. We're going to have period problems with our young girls. We're going to have all those issues. And it's interesting because Dr. John Lee, who did some of the research about 20 years ago on this, kind of started that whole, transdermal progesterone cream revolution. He said, we're going to see in 20, 25 years, we're going to see a generation of girls that look normal. Everything about them's normal. And then they're going to turn around and they're not going to be able to reproduce. And we look at the sperm count, same thing. These men are having these xenoestrogens affect them. They're seeing belly fat, they're seeing low sperm counts, they're seeing heart attacks, they're seeing disease because these xenoestrogens that are in a lot of these preservatives and things, we're not detoxifying. Well, the beauty is there are things, calcium diglucarate, DIM, there's certain herbs and things you can do that will help bind to that natural thing. That's why everybody talks about broccoli sprouts and, the green veggies, because they bind to that with that good fiber and that negative live, like we were talking about, that live charge to it, and it binds to all that stuff and allows you to eliminate it. But if all you're eating is processed white food, then you got glue going through you. You're absorbing
the
things.
chemicals that are there. And now, we've learned that why use, with drugs, it's the same thing. It's side effects, evidence-based, really doesn't work. That's a problem. And, we in this country have really said, oh, let's take the drug. When you watch national news, whether any of them tonight, you're being inundated with commercials.
It's going to tell you it's going to make you perfect.
Absolutely.
You're going to be happy, healthy, this and that, but you won't be able to sleep, pee. You don't even want to see the list.
Yeah.
To me, it's about, and I think that's the shift that's happening in America. I hope it is that ownership. Let's go back to that. Look at, I just want to buy simple food. I go to my farmer's market and I support them. Why? Because I never want to lose that avenue of having raw, real food that's as close to the earth as I can. I grow a lot of stuff in my own yard, but there are times in the year, and that's the beauty. If you had a garden and you grew tomatoes, and he grew pomegranates, and I grew corn, and the lady down the street grew kale, and we all came together at the big old barn, you took some of mine, I took some of his, and we all shared, we would be, in fact, I saw a girl the other day, I believe it was on Rachel Ray, and that's what she did. She's going around creating gardens into communities where these children grow these food and they give it to the shelters. They give it to people so that they have that food. You know how much food, raw, real food goes to waste every year? Thousands and hundreds of thousands of pounds.
That's a shame.
We need to get back to our roots of what made it real to us. And that food is alive. If it can sit on a shelf, or somebody's manufactured it, like you said, if I can get 15 of these for $2.99, is it really something I want to stick in my body? Yeah. When I can go out and get something that might be a pomegranate, which I have, mine are in bloom right now, and I just die loving it so much. But you go into a store and you buy something like that, well, it's medicinal. You just bought a yummy thing, but it's medicinal. And if your taste buds are alive and you're not a sugar head, which I'm not a sugar head, I'm not. I taste that sweetness and that sourness and that tartness, and your food is alive. And this is part of it. Digestion, and this keeps this healthy. And if we're eating food that's dead like that or processed like that, you're never gonna feel alive.
You can go to the grocery store and you get inundated, but the most common place, because of life in the fast lane for so many of us, it's fast food.
But you can find places that are going to prepare that food fresh for you on a level that it's not all coming out of a box. And then again, we want to support those local people of what they produce so that we don't lose those local places to go for a quick meal. Because I agree with you. It is tough sometimes. And, I've done more processed, eating out that way in, the last 3 years, because there are days I don't want to cook.
Yeah,
but I sure feel lousy when I do it.
We're having a great conversation with Kim Wall, our homeopathic guru, but we're going to take a break on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're talking with Kim Wall, who's our homeopathic guru, and we've mentioned things about triggers and the foods that we eat, especially that are triggers, but detoxifying from this. And one of the things I alluded to just at the end of the last segment was one of the ways to detoxify is just don't eat fast food. And of course, reading labels is helpful. Yes. But there are other ways, Kim, that we haven't discussed, and we only have just a few minutes, that people can detoxify in a very simple way.
Exactly. Well, one of the things I love about homeopathy is the fact that it can be that gentle and it can stimulate, and you can detoxify for anything. So if you've had a mercury poisoning or an exposure, you could take homeopathic mercury to get the body to detoxify that. King Bio makes some really great ones. Actually, one of the ones I use on my granddaughter is one that's for the chemicals in in things like diapers and things like that, And we went to getting some kind of pull-up panties for nighttime, and it made her butt break out. And I could spray the spray on and do it, and it worked. I went and got a natural one that had no chemicals in it, and the problem went away. But it's very interesting to look at. There are things out there. I can use something. Let's say, they have one that is for gluten or dairy, and let's say it's the holidays, and you're going to go to your friend's house, and you don't know what's in some of those things, and you eat, and you get indigestion. I go home, I pop a couple enzymes, and I might do something like that, or a total body detox. And the simple way the body detoxifies, and that's where people need to realize, is something as simple as trace minerals that you can buy at the store, put it in your water, which will bring the alkalinity of the water up. But the trace minerals help the cells communicate better, but it helps to bind to things to help the body detox. And we used to get those minerals from our foods, from our raw vegetables, and from our water. But everything's so filtered and processed and dead, we're not getting those minerals. And if you're not eating a lot of that processed, a lot of that, those greens, those live greens, you're not getting something to bind. Everybody talks about fiber, which is important, but let's do fiber that's alive. Something like some good greens or for me, something as simple as like last night, we had pumpkin soup for dinner, and I baked the pumpkin in the oven and scraped everything and did it and blended. It was phenomenal. But something as simple as that and made it medicinal. I put in turmeric, which has curcumin in it, which is a great anti-inflammatory, great for protecting the cells. If you are doing chemotherapy, protects the brain. It's one of those things. It's like everybody should know about this herb and use it in our life. And that's what I do, is I incorporate those little things into my diet. Grab a this, try a that, put something in that's simple, because that way you're doing it every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
You tell them, what do you have to eat all the time?
Green beans.
Green beans. That's one of her favorites. Right out
From
of the
generation to generation.
Exactly, right out of the garden.
But Kim, you have a lot of great information, and it's important that our listeners learn that they need to detoxify, and some of the simple things, not going to fast foods, like we said, making good choices, shopping in the right place. But if they need to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
They can contact me at educator.com is my email, and my phone number is 818-683-4876. And the thing is there's simple things like dry brushing and saunas and showers and jacuzzi tubs that are not chlorine, that might be salt water. All things that would be, perspiration is one of the easiest ways to detoxify, or just walking and deep breathing. Your lungs is a great way you detoxify. Yeah. So if you're stagnant, you're not detoxifying on any level. So get up, move around, and get things detoxifying.
Kim Wall, our homeopathic guru.
Thank you, Dr.
Great show.
Dorio.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and Santa Clarita in home care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life, and happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.